it is this planet Earth that is suffering from the impact of climate change. We all believe that there is Mercury, Venus, Earth, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, Neptune, and Pluto. But the only planet where we human beings and our animals can survive is planet Earth.
Good day, everybody and everywhere. Allow me to extend greetings from Pan-African Climate Justice Alliance, and on behalf of Pan-African Climate Justice Alliance and Young Volunteers for the Environment-Gambia, serving as the National Designated Platform Secretariat of Pan-African Climate Justice Alliance, PACJA. It is with pleasure to have you. I would like to thank you all for joining us today for the launch of our Banjul Week of Action on Climate and Keep the Promise campaign, Road Code to 28, Dubai, and stakeholders consultation forum supported by Pan-African Climate Justice Alliance in collaboration with the National Environment Agency, NEA, and Gambia Environment Alliance, GEA, based in the Gambia.
Approaches. You realize that the Gambia is also doing a very good job in terms of agreeing to that global agreement. Coming from farming background, there are loopholes that we feel that the Gambia government should also try looking into in order to have the world that is habitable for both farmers and any other individual to comfortably live in the earth. So one of those things is that considering the climate agreement, putting it to have 1.5 degrees Celsius. But now, as read by our Honorable Secretary, we realize that that has been exceeded. Now we have realized the global emission has reached to a stage of 1.15 degrees Celsius. And this is a threat to the farming community for the fact that CO2, emission of CO2 at that exorbitant amount affect the development of crops. And if that is done, the food security, the food sovereignty will also put at stake.
As a youth advocate and a negotiator, I am here to emphasize the urgent need for preserving the 1.5 goal degree and strengthening adaptation and mitigation, loss and damage action in the Gambia. Climate change is threatening our nation's future, and we must act now. Despite the fact that it's not only Gambia that has signed up for the NDC, but other countries as well have signed up for the NDC. And for the previous record, I think Gambia happens to be on the track of NDC, which was a very big achievement for the Gambia. I can say it's not that we're achieving everything, but then looking at our NDC, our objectives and our goals that we have in our NDC, it has been something that Gambia is focusedly working on to mitigate climate change in the country. As the lives of the long-term climate change strategy, which is aimed at 2030, and then we have the green project as well, that is the solar energy, which also aims at 2030, making sure that we have more solarized households in the country, so that we can also reduce the amount of emission that will be generated in the country, which all contributes to preserving the 1.5 degree goal and strengthening adaptation and mitigation in the Gambia. We need to prioritize adaptation strategies as well, reduce greenhouse gas emissions through mitigating efforts, and address irreversible losses and damage caused by climate change. And as youth, we demand for action from our leaders and international communities to secure a sustainable future for the Gambia and for the globe at large, to protect our planet. And with regards to that, I will shed a bit light on the negotiation part when it comes to action for climate empowerment. For years, it is believed that climate change is something that we can have, despite the fact that we can have a lot of projects ongoing, but then the key, most important thing there is education. Are these people aware about climate change? What is their knowledge? Their knowledge about climate change is something that needs to be assessed. As my boss here says, the initiative, we also have the same initiative, Catch Them Young. The younger generation should be taught. They should be well equipped with climate change. If not, they will go on with that ideology that they have. And it will be very difficult to eradicate some of these challenges that we are facing. So as Action for Climate Empowerment is concerned, we aim at integrating climate change into the national school curriculums in the country and other countries at large. So for the case of Gambia, the EVA project was also helping with MOPSI with regards to integrating climate change into our national curriculum. I've learned that they were in progress, and then they also have a draft document that they did, but it is gradually going, I can say. But the key as a youth advocate on ACE, and my demand from my country and the government is to integrate climate change into our national curriculum.
That last year, we have been rated, I don't know whether last year or year before last, as the only country, or one of the few countries that is compatible with the Paris Agreement. And what that means is Gambia is on the right track in terms of meeting the 1.5 degrees Celsius Paris Agreement. But if you look at it, when you go back to the climate tracker that has actually rated the Gambia to that level, if you look at their review on the Gambia in this particular year that we are, it is saying that we are not entirely now compatible with the Paris Agreement. And there are some few things that they've actually highlighted. Last year we were compatible, but this year if you look at our overall rating, we are almost sufficient. So what that means is, in as much as we are not entirely compatible, but we are not also deviating that much. So we are almost sufficient. And if you look at our policies and actions, Gambia, when it comes to policies, we are always on top there. In fact, when you go outside, Gambia's NDC is one of the best in the world, I've been told. We have one of the best NDCs. So when it comes to putting the policies together, we are always top in that because we hire top, people to come and draft these policies for us. But mostly our problem is how do we really put these policies into action.
It is our own doing, so it is our own responsibility to come up. I've been vindicated again that the Gambian youth and cops, they did very well. And then, you heard from them. But with this 1.5, that's a problem. And that's where the problem lies. And what can we do to make sure that the amount of gas that is being emitted, that is mitigation, is under control?
A mission and a goal to achieve. You understand? I personally, I benefited from the COP. I got a 1-year training on negotiation through the COP. That was my first time I went there. And I got a lot of other opportunities. NGOs that are going there, they are having grants. Some of their grants is they lobby them through the COP. You have the Green Climate Fund, the Adaptation Fund, the RICA project, the World Bank project. These are all projects that we are lobbying, that we are being negotiated, because Gambia go there and present, this is the Gambia, this is what we are doing. And what support can we have? All these other projects that you see, this is how they derive them. And Gambia, as we all know, our financial status cannot be compared to other African countries in the G70, you understand, these developing countries. But then, Gambia can afford to get a pavilion of its own, an office space, you understand, where Gambia will go and sell itself.
Okay.
This is something that has not been happening, you understand. But for this year, Gambia happens to get that for free, without the government spending any budget, you understand. So if you have that ideology or belief of saying that I'm like, what is the government getting from this COP? The government is getting a lot from this COP.
Billions of dollars. I cannot give an accurate amount. But if you search online what the African countries were able to achieve or get from the Africa Climate Week that just happened 2 months ago in Nairobi, it will give you an understanding of why these convergences are really important. This is a place where organizations lobby. For me, it has been a transformational journey for me, starting from last year to where I am this year. My first COP, when I went to COP, I did not pay for it, it has been funded for me. And it's through my engagement at last year's COP that this year too, I have been selected out of 11,000 people around the world as one of the 100 delegates that COP28 itself is funding to be part of negotiation processes. So if I had not gone to COP, I wouldn't have had that opportunity last year. So that's why he's saying it's not always about the finances, but also the knowledge that you get from that COP and the connections and so on. Of course, COP has its problems. I mean, it's a lot of politics. If you go there, the developed nations would be fighting for their interests, and the underdeveloped nations will also be fighting for their interests. But does that mean that because those people probably they are powerful more than you when it comes to finances, and in fact, when it comes to education and so on, you will see that as, let's say, something that probably if you go, you will not get anything out of. Let me just not go.
Do this because there is no time. COP is just at the right corner. We seize this opportunity to thank you all for your gesture, and you receive our call wholeheartedly. You came here and you deliver to expectation. The students, the media, and the organizing committee, I would love to take this opportunity and thank you all once again. I say a big thank you for answering to our calls. And those going to COP also, we still need to see that flag, the Gambia flag, high on top of the developed nations.